Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll get started. So in today's webinar, we are going to learn about Python basics like print function, variables, data types, and some of the basic string functions,
Yes,
conditional
madam.
statements, iterative statements, and all we are going to start. So before getting started with the coding, let us discuss something about what is Python and what are its applications and all. Okay. So Python is developed by Guido and Rasm and released in 1991. I have discussed this introduction to Python and application in the previous webinar. So let's have some recap about that. Rasm was a huge fan of Monty Python show by BBC. He admired the show and named his program languages Python. And Python is the interpreter language which executes the code line by line, whereas compiler executes the code all at once. And Python is a dynamically typed language where we don't have to declare the data types. The system itself will check the data type during runtime. And when comparing with other programming languages, Python programs are shorter. Okay. And Python is an object-oriented language. The object-oriented language mainly works on classes and objects. Okay. It is used to structure the software program simple, reusable, and it provides security to our data whichever we provided in the code. Next, we are moving on to the Python applications. Since Python is a general purpose language, we can make various applications with Python libraries and modules. The application are web development, game development, machine learning and artificial intelligence, data science, desktop application, web scraping application in the sense we can get some data from web server with the help of Beautiful Soup library. So we can make use of that for data science projects and all. And business application, embedded applications in the sense we can use Python as a scripting language, like we can have Python embedded with other programming languages like C, C++, Java and all. And Python can be useful for audio and video applications, and it will be helpful for image processing application with the help of OpenCV, Pillow and SimpleTK. Next, we are going for Python setup. So since we know what is Python and what are its application, we are going to discuss about what are the IDEs available for Python. The first one you can get from python.org. They will provide IDLE. So from there you can do your Python coding. And next, you can have Anaconda Navigator. From there, you can download Spider IDE and Jupyter IDE is also available. So there you can do your Python coding. Then you have PyCharm. I suggest you to download the community version. And you are having Google Colab, which is an online editor Python. There you can do your Python code. In your mobile phone also, you can make use of Google Colab. Next, we are moving on to the Python print function. So whenever we are using Python print function, if you are using Python 2.7 version, you can use it without this parenthesis. Without this brackets, you can use the print function in Python. But if you are using Python version 3.x and 3.7, now they have released 3.10 version also. So whenever you are using 3.x version, you have to use it with the brackets. Okay. Then the Python print function having some parameters like objects, separator, end, file, and flush. The objects are nothing but whichever we want to show it to our user. Like if you want to show the output, if you want to show some messages, we will show there in the objects. And separator. A separator is used to separate the objects. I'm having multiple objects in the print function. If I want to separate it by some other symbol like colon, comma, full stop, or whatever symbol I want, I can make use of the separator parameter in print function. The Python will automatically move to next line. So to avoid that, we will using the end function. Okay, whenever you are using, if you are using multiple print function, you can say that the Python will automatically move on to the next line. If you don't want to move on to the next line, if you want to stay every line in the same line, you can make use of the end function. And then the file parameter, it is used to add some data in certain file. So like when you're working with file handling in Python, you can make use of the file function. What it will do is whatever data you want to add in certain file in your system, you can make use of the file parameter. So next we are moving on to the Python variables. A variable is a storage container which used to store the data in the memory. Okay. So here I'm having age equal to 25. Here age is the variable name and 25 is the data. So what will happen is that whenever I'm declaring this variable in the Python, it will allocate some memory in our system. Okay, it will allocate some memory in our system. There it will store the value 25 with the label of age, and it will be having some memory location. So how can we locate the memory address of the variable? Do you have any ideas? Any ideas? Okay, fine. So in Python, we can use a function called id. With the help of this function, we can... With the help of this function, we can check at which location the memory, the variable is stored. Okay. So next, we are moving on to the Python data types. As I said, Python is a dynamically typed language. We don't need to declare the data types. So during runtime, the Python itself will find out which type it is by the help of the value. Here I'm having age equal to 10. Since age equal to 10 is a whole number, it considered as the integer data type. Next, I'm having name equal to Rom. Remember, whenever you are declaring a string in Python or Java, whatever the programming language it is, you have to enclose it with the double quotes or single quotes. So if it is say anything that is enclosed within double quotes or single quotes or triple quotes, the Python will consider it as a string data type. Next, we are having the value of pi. The value of pi is 3.14. Since it is a real number, during runtime, it will consider as a float data type. Next, we are having the complex data type. Complex in the sense you'll be having the real and imaginary numbers during the max sessions and all you might have studied. So 2 plus 3i, 2i, which is considered as a complex data types. So next we are having Python input function. So till that we have seen how to show the output to the user, how to show the message to the user. If I want to get some input from the user, like whenever you're playing games, do you want to play the game or quit the game? They'll be asking question, you will press yes or no. Likewise, if you want to get some input from the user, we can use some certain functions. Like the first one is the input function, which will be helpful to get the input in the string format. The second one is the data type input function. In the place of data type, we will put int, float, long, double, likewise the data type we want, and we will get the user. We will get the input from the user. Like if I want the input in the integer format, I will use int input of. If I want the input from the user as the float format, I'll use float input of. Next, we are having evolve input function. What it will do is it will get input in the any kind of format like string, integer, float. Even it will take the input in the expression format. Are you able to understand till now? Do you have any doubts?
It's clear, madam. Thank you.
Okay. So next we are moving on to the Python conditional statements. Like I want to check some conditions while doing my coding. While getting the voter ID, the age should be greater than 18. While the eligible to vote, the age should be greater than 18. Likewise, if I want to check some conditions means I have to use some conditional statements like if condition, it will be helpful to check a single condition. Okay. Then if else statement, it will be helpful to check some two conditions like if age greater than 18 or age greater than 18 or not. Likewise, if you want to check some two condition will be using if else statement. Then we are having if else statements, which will be used to check some multiple conditions in our program. Next, we are having Python iterative statements. I want to print something for 10 times, or if I want to do some certain code for 10 times, okay? So likewise, if I want to do something for multiple times in a loop format, I'll be using some iterative statements. Here in Python, we will be using for loop and a while loop. So far now we have discussed about all the theoretical part. So now we will move on to the coding session. Okay. So for coding, I'm using the Spider IDE. So are you able to see this? The Spider IDE. Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So like we do in other programming languages, here also we are going to start it with the Hello World program. Okay. So this Spider IDE, in the console page, we will be seeing your output. Okay. So let me start with the Hello World program. So I'm using print function. In the parenthesis, enclosed within double quotes, I'm welcoming you all to my webinar. Okay. So this is the Hello World program. Like if you want to start programming in Python, the first thing what we will do is we will print Hello World. Here I'm printing welcome to my webinar. Then press this green button. You will get the output in the console page. See, here we are having welcome to my webinar. So instead of double quotes, we can even use the single quotes here. I print in single quotes. Hello, everyone. Even it will print here. Okay. And after that, we can even use triple quotes. 3 times single quotes. Okay. I'm enclosing it with 3 times. If you run this, even it will print here. Okay. So I don't want to print it on a new line. I want everything in the same line. So what I can do here in the print function, which parameter I can use here? Any ideas? Any ideas which parameter I can use here? I have discussed Python parameters, right? Okay, we can use the end parameter here. Okay, if end equal to, I'm simply giving it in a single quotes. If I run this, you can see that welcome to my webinar and hello everyone is in a single line. It doesn't move to the next line. So with the help of end parameter, we can have everything in single line. Okay, the Python automatically will move to the next line. So to avoid that, we can use the end parameter. In the enclosed single quotes, we can even use /n. Okay, or /t or /. You can use any escape sequences there. So you can run there. So it will also work. So /n means it will move to the next line. Okay, if we put it empty, it will avoid moving to the next line. Okay, are you able to understand this? So next we are moving on to the Python comments. There is a saying, any fool can do the program which the system will understand. Okay, only the good programmer can do the coding while the system and the human both can understand. Okay, So whenever we are doing some coding, we have to give some instructions like documentation in our coding. So for what we are using this variable, for what we are using this conditional statement, for what we are using this iterative statements. Okay, what does it function mean? What does it program mean? When did we did the program? Who did the author? Everything we need to mention in our coding if your coding needs to be clean and manageable. Okay, after if someone wants to check your coding or someone wants to have some reference from your coding, if they want to reuse your coding, they need to know what are the things are there in your coding. So that is what they say, any fool can do, which the system can understand. Only the good programmer can do the coding, which the system and the human both can understand. Okay, so for giving some documentation, for giving some instruction to the others, we are using Python comments. The Python comments can be done in a slash or else in a 3 single quotes. Okay, if you're using slash, it will give you the single line comment. Okay, so if you want to use it for a multi-line comment, okay, for that you can use some 3 single quotes. Okay, it will be useful for multi-line comments. Okay, so for that we are using the single line comment, multi-line comments in Python. So next we are moving on to the Python variables. So for declaring Python variables, we are having certain rules. Okay, for declaring Python variables, we are having certain rules. Like the variable name should be start with the alphabet or a underscore symbol. Okay, next it should not start with a number or any other special character. It should not start with the number or any special characters. And the variable name should not be a keyword. The keywords we'll be using in the Python, like if, while, in, range, like this, we'll be using many keywords in Python. So the variable name should not be a keyword. Okay. Then the variable name should be a meaningful one. We should not give the name as X, Y, Z, A, B, C. We have to give a meaningful name. If you are going to get the input from the user, which is the name of the user, means you have to give first name, last name, middle name. The variable name should be a meaningful one. Okay, so we are going to work on here with the variable. So I want to get a variable name as a name. Okay, name equal to, I'm having some name here like Sheila, and I want the age here, age equal to 30. Okay, and I want to have a mobile number here equal to, okay, so here it shows error. Do you know why? Do you know why it shows error here? Any ideas why it shows error here? So if your variable name is having some 2 words like mobile number, first name, if you want to separate, that means you should not use any other symbols. You have to use underscore symbol here. If you want to separate 2 words, you have to use underscore symbol in your variable name. Okay. So with the help of print function, we can print everything here. So I'm using the print function here. Print name, comma, age, comma, mobile number. Okay, so I'm printing name, age, mobile number. I'm running this program. So my program will print Sheila 30 and her mobile number. Here you can see I have in give any space here. After comma, I haven't given any space here, but Python itself automatically given space. It automatically separated the objects. Okay. So instead of space here, if you want to have some other symbols like colon, question mark, likewise, you can use the parameter. Which parameter we can use? Any ideas? Okay, we can use the parameter sep. Okay, which will separate the values. So in the quotation, I'm giving colon. So after comma, it will put colon here. So now I'm running this program. So you can see Sheila colon 30 colon and the mobile number. So the separator will be helpful to separate each objects in your print function. Okay. Are you able to understand this? Do you have any doubts till now? If you have any doubts, you can ask me without any hesitation.
No, madam.
Okay. So next we are moving on to the ID function. I have already told you the ID function will be useful to get the memory location of the variable. Okay. So if I want to know the where the age is stored, I can use the ID function here. ID. Inside the ID, you have to provide the variable name. Okay. If I run this program, I will get the ID of the variable age. Okay. So now we have seen Python variables, right? So let us move on to some string functions in Python. Okay. So I'm going to declare some two strings here. Okay. In a string one, I'm having hello everyone. Okay. In a string two, I'm having how are you all? Question mark. Okay. So I want to print the two strings. Okay. What can I do here? In a single line, I want to print the two strings like hello world, how are you all? I want to concatenate these two strings. What can I do here? Any ideas? Okay. So there are two ways to join these strings. Okay. One is like we did in the previous example, we can use the comma operator here, like string one comma string two. Okay. So if I run this, what it will do is it will print hello everyone, how are you all? Okay. And if I want to join one string to another string, I have to use a plus operator here. Okay. String one plus string two. If I run this, you can see the difference here. The comma operator will give the space automatically, whereas the plus operator will join the string with the another. There will be no space here. Okay, if you want to join two strings, you can use the plus operator. If you want to join the two strings with a space like thing, you can use the comma operator here. Then our string will be having the index, like we are having hello everyone, right? Here H will be having the index 0 and A will be having the index 1 and L will be having the index 2 and so on. The hello everyone will be having each letter will be having some index value. We can access if I want to have the letter E, if I want to have letter Y, I can access them using the index values. Always remember the index always start with the 0. It will not start with 1. The index always start with 0. If I print str1 in a bracket, I'm printing 5. Okay. Can you tell me which is the fifth character? I mean, which is the one is in the fifth index? Can you tell me? Okay. So let us run this. So it gives doesn't give anything. Why? It means the fifth one is space. Okay. If I print 5:8, it will start from fifth index and ends at seventh index. Okay, 5, 6, 7. So whenever you are providing index in Python, if you provide 8, it will stop at 7. If you provide 10, it will stop at 9. Okay, so always remember that even if you are using for loop and while loop, the index will always stop the if 8 means 7, 10 means 9. Okay, it will always stop before the one we have mentioned here. Okay, so if you want to access some certain strings from the Python, you can use the index values, and you can even make a subset or substring using this one. Okay, so I want to store the hello into another string. I can use the index value from 0 to 5 and store it in the another variable, which will be useful to have the substrings and all. Okay, then in string we are having the length function. The length will give us a size of the string. Okay, the length will give us a size of the string. So here I'm having string 1 and I'm going to find the length of the string. It gives the 14. So while it counting for the length, it will start as 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will include space also. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so whenever the string, if you want to find the length of the string, it will start with the number 1. It will not start with 0. It will start with number 1. Okay, so are you able to understand till this? Do you have any doubts? Okay, then we will move on to the input function. So we are moving on to the input function. Now, if you want to have a string as an input, you can simply use the input function as I have discussed there. So, name equal to input of. Okay. Then print name. What the first one will do is it will take the string as an input. Okay. Even if you type numbers there, it will still take it as a string. Okay. Then I want to take again age equal to input of. Okay, so if they type age as a 25, 20, 35, 60, whatever it is, even if it is a number, it will take it as a string. So if you want it as an integer value, you have to include int. If you want the input in the integer format, you have to include int function, and you have to use the input function there. Okay, then we are printing age here. Okay. After this, I want to add some two numbers and all. Okay, I want the user to give the instruction, like whether they want to do some expressions and all. So I'm going to use some evaluate function. Okay, expression equal to eval input. Okay. So now I print expression. So when I run this, so the first input function is name, right? I'm giving Ram here. So it prints Ram. So next it is asking for the input for age. I'm giving 12. So it prints 12. So it shows error, evaluate argument 1 must be a string, bytes, or code object. Okay. Okay. So what it says is it will take an argument as a string, bytes, a code object, it says. So it is not working here in this code. So let me comment this. Let me comment this and run this code. So now it's working. Okay, so if I give here 3 star 5 and press enter, it will produce the output 15. Okay, so if I again run here if I give string like enter, the A, B, D, C, E, F is not defined. In the sense, it will take some numbers, values, and all, and it will check for 1 minute. Okay, sorry. So whatever you give inside the evaluate function, it will consider this as a expression. Okay. So if you do A, B, C, D, E, F, it denotes it as not defined just because it's not an expression here. Okay. So if you give some numbers here, it will print that. So 5. So it will print the 5. So instead of expressions and numbers, if you give some characters or string, it will denote it as it doesn't declare there. Okay. So do you have any doubts till now?
Madam, can we multiply or divide higher numbers, not single digits, like big numbers here?
Yes, we can do that.
Okay.
So I'm giving 5, 6, 7, 8, 4. Let's multiply 7. So it will still work. Without single digits, even if you have some multiple digits, it will still work here. So the evaluate function will take everything, the argument whichever we are passing in that function, it will take it as a expression. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
Okay. So next, we are going to the. So I'm going to ask you one thing. Print 5, 6 star 5. Can you tell me what will be the output of this print statement? Anyone? Can you tell me what will be the output of this string function? Okay. So if I run this line, what will happen is the 4, 5, 6. It will be print for 5 times. Okay. So whenever you are giving string with the integer and you are having this star symbol, it means that the string has to be printed for 5 times. The string has to be printed for 3 times. Okay. So if I give some other number without quotation means it will do some expression like 456 into 5. But here the 456 is enclosed within quotations. So it will be considered as a string. Whenever you are giving the string with the multiplication operation, what it will do is it will print the string into the 5 times, 10 times, whichever number you are having mentioned there. Okay. So next we are moving on to the conditional statements. We are moving on to the conditional statement. Here first, what we are going to do is we are going to have if statement. Okay. So I'm going to get the input from the user. Okay. Like number 1 equal to int input of 1, number 2 equal to int input of. Okay. So here I'm going to check which number is greater. So I'm going to give it in a conditional statement, which is if statement. If number 1 greater than number 2. So unlike other programming languages, if you are using the Python, you have to end the if statement looping for loop, while loop with a semicolon. Okay. So if you press enter, it will move on to the next line, which one tab space. So the Python always will have an indentation error. If you're having some extra space or if you didn't give some space there, it will show you some error. Okay. So whenever you're working with Python, so beware of the indentation error. Okay. So saying is if number 1 is greater than number 2, I'm asking them to print. Okay. Print number 1 is greater. Okay. Number 1 is greater. So here I am running this program, then entering 786. So here if number 1 is greater, it shows that 786 is greater. So, so if you are running the program, you can see that we are not having any message to the user here. So if you want to give some message to the user, you can add it in the input function within a quotation. Okay, within a quotation, you can give the message to the user, like enter the number, colon. If you give some space, it will, the coding will be neat. The number. Okay, so when you run this code, it will show the message to the user. So they will know whether they need to enter the name or whether they need to enter the number, which will be in the float value, or they can easily identify what kind of input they need to give there. Okay, so you can give the instruction to the user in the input function, like 56, 45. So it says 56 is greater. What if the second number, number 2, is greater? So we need to check that also, right? So for that we are using else statement. Okay, for that we are using else statement here. Else, okay, print number 2 is greater. Should be in a quotation. Okay, so if you are checking number 1, so if number 2 is greater, it has to show some values, right? So for that we are using the, for checking whether number 2 is greater than number 1 or not, we are having the else statement here. So enter the number. Right. So here it shows number 2 is greater. So next we are moving on to the multiple condition statements. So for the
Madam, one question. What if the numbers are equal? What will it show?
sorry sir.
If both the numbers are equal, the same
Yeah.
numbers if we input, what is the message it will print?
So we can have the another condition for that.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
else if statement, number 1 equal number 2. Okay, so we can see number 1 equal to number 2. Okay, so if both the numbers are if number 1 is not greater than number 2 and they are not equal, it should be the less than, which means the number 2 is greater than number 2. Then we are having the else statement here, which prints number 2 is greater. Okay, so run this here, having 56. Next one, I'm having the 56. So 56 is equal to 56. So in if statement, what it will happen is that whenever we are giving the input, first the program will check this condition. They check the condition in the if. If it is true, it will move on to the statement within the if condition. If it is false, it will be move on to the else if statement. Okay, so one by one it will check the condition. If all the conditions are false, it will move on to the else statement, then the else statement will run there. Okay, so are you able to understand that? Shall we move on to the next topic?
Yeah. Yes, madam.
So here is the question for you. Having print quotation hi. So next having print hi. So next I am having print hi here. Okay. So if I run this, so it prints hi, hi, hi. So instead of typing each time print hi, print hi, print hi, I want to do it in a single statement. Is it possible? How can we do that? Do you have any ideas? In parameter. No? What I'm asking is, instead of typing every time, here see, print hi, print hi, print hi. So I'm typing 3 times there. If I wanted to have the 10 times means, again I have to type it for 10 times, right? So instead of doing like this, is it possible to do it in a single line which will print hi for 10 times or 100 times or 1000 times? What can I do here?
Like you showed earlier, right?
Yeah,
Within
so
the integer, you say just say multiplied by.
so if I have hi into 3, okay, so what it will do is it will print hi. So now what I want is I want it in a next line, new line. Instead of in a single line, I want it in a new line. What can I do here? So this is the assignment for you. You just try and check that out. Okay. So after this webinar, you can try this and check that out. Okay. So next we are moving on to the next one. So I want to print numbers from 1 to 10. What can I do here? In a 1 by 1 statement, what can I do here? I want to print numbers from 1 to 10. Is it possible? So shall I do print 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4? I do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shall I do that like this? Or is there any other way to do it? Any ideas? Any ideas? Okay. So instead of doing like this, what we can do is we can make use of the iterative statements. We can make use of the iterative statements. So if I want to print from like for I in range of 1, 10. Okay. Then print I. Okay. So our for loop, what it will do is, so I in range of 1 to 10. So what I'm asking is, I'm asking them to print the values from 1 to 10. Okay. So does anybody tell me what will be the output of this program?
Three, 4, 5, 6, 10.
Sorry. Sorry. Can you tell me clearly?
Print 1, 2, 3.
Okay. The print, what it will do is it will print from 1 to, whether it will print from 1 to 9 or 1 to 10.
One to nine. Oh,
Yeah.
0 to 9.
No, it will not start from 0 to 9. So here I have mentioned 1. So what it will do is I will take the value 1. Here, what will happen is I will take the value 1 first, and then it will print the value. Next, what will happen is the 1 will be incremented. So for look for I in range of, in first one I have mentioned the start value, and in the second one I have mentioned the stop value. And there is another parameter here, that is step value. The step value, what it will do is it will increment the value. If I want to increment the value by 1, I can give the 1. If I want to increment the value by 2, I can give the value 2 here. So if you don't give any step value, the system will automatically take it as a 1. So here the first I will take the 1 and it will print 1. Next, what will happen is the I will be incremented with 1. If it's incremented, the i's value will be 2. Likewise, it will go on until 9. When it comes to 10, it will not print the 10th value. Okay. It shows 1 to 9. Okay. So if I run this program, so it will print from 1 to 9 here. So, okay, tell me. I want to print the odd numbers here. What can I do here? I want to print odd numbers like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. I want to print odd numbers here. What can I do here? Any ideas? What changes do I have to? Yes, tell me. Actually, I'm not able to hear you. Can you tell in the chat box? I plus 2. Okay, very good. So in the step value, if I add 2 here, okay, so I want to increment it by 2, then what will happen is the statement will print the odd numbers. Okay, so what should I do to print the even numbers like 2, 4, 6, 8? What should I do here? Change 2 to 1. I equal to 2. Okay. Okay, so as Geese Fabro said, if I have 2 to 1, it will show the output from 1 to 9. Okay, so if you want it to print even numbers, you have to change the start value. Okay, start value should be changed here. So whenever we change the start value, it will print as the even numbers here. Okay. So are you able to understand the for loop? Do you have any doubts here?
No, madam.
Okay. So next we are moving on to the while loop. Okay. It is same as the for loop. So in while loop, what we will do is we will give the start value before the while loop, like I equal to 1. Okay. We will check the condition in the while loop. So in for loop, what we have done is in the range function, we have given the start value, stop value, and increment value. But in while loop, before the while loop, we have to declare the start value. And inside the while loop, we have to declare the range, which means the stop value. Okay. Then after that, we have to give the statement which it needs to be done in the while loop. After that, as for the increment, okay, what we have to do is we have to give it after the print statement, like I equal to I plus 1. Okay, so it will work same as the for loop, but they're giving the start value, increment value, and the stop value only changes here. Okay, so again, it will print the statement from 1 to 9 here. Okay, in both the for loop and the while loop, we can have the else statement like in if statement. In if we have the else statement, right? Likewise, we can have the else statement in for loop and while loop. So we can provide else. Okay. Print error limit exceeded. Okay. So now when it comes to the 10th one, okay, whenever it incremented to the 10th one or 11th one, the else statement will print the statement here. So in both the for loop and while loop, we can give the else statement here. Okay. So till that, are you clear? Do you have any doubts?
No, madam.
Okay. So if you want to learn Python, about Python, more thing, if you want to learn about Python in ArmSpark platform, I'll be starting my courses October 15. With the Indian rupees 400, in American dollars, it will be some $6 to $7 around. Okay. You can check that out. The Python course will start at October 15th. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now. If you don't have any doubts, means I will hand over the session to Zaira.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Zaira. Thank you, Zaira.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. It was really a great session to enhance our knowledge about Python coding.